Knowledge Bandara, an animated video presenting the world's best-selling books.
Hello friends, welcome back. Ramayana is one of the greatest epics ever told. A story of dharma, exile, war, devotion and sacrifice. A story of Rama, the ideal king, but also a story of Sita. Yet for centuries, Sita often stood in the shadows of epic. In the Forest of Enchantments, Chitra Banerjee reimagines the Ramayana, not as Ram's story, but as Sitayana. And it begins not in exile, not in Lanka, but in Sita's girlhood. Before she becomes queen, before she becomes exile, she is girl in Mithila. The forest responds to her. The wind whispers secrets into her ears. The soil pulses with her breath. She is not just born of earth, she belongs to it. Her magical connection with nature makes her healer. She senses destiny long before it arrives. In this retelling, she meets Sri Ram before her Swayamvara, not in a grand hall, not before kings and bows, but quietly near her palace temple. Their meeting is tender, curious, almost fated. And here comes a striking change. Ram declares he will only marry if all his brothers are married at the same time. In this version, it is Sita who urges King Janaka to invite his brother's daughter and arrange the weddings of Bharat and Shatrughna alongside theirs. She is not passive, she shapes the destiny. The story then moves to Ayodhya. Here the palace is not peaceful. There is visible jealousy and rivalry between Kausalya and Kaikeyi. The tension simmers beneath royal smiles. In fact, Sita even has a direct confrontation, almost a duel with Kaikeyi. The women are no longer silent figures in the background. They are political, emotional, and powerful. Then comes the turning point. Ram is sent away for 14 years. Sita chooses exile, not of helplessness, but of love. But this version beautifully captures something rarely explored. Her heartbreak of leaving Urmila behind, the sister she grew up with. This exile is not just physical, it is also emotional. In the forest, Sita meets Shurpanaka, first curious, then transformed, changing her appearance to attract Ram and Lakshman. This encounter is layered and personal, not just a passing episode. This becomes a stage of choice and consequences. Then comes Ravana, the abduction, the Lanka, captivity. But Ravana here is not one-dimensional villain of the traditional epic. Readers may not feel intense hatred toward him. He speaks of his painful childhood under Kubera, and he speaks of humiliation. At times, Sita even feels sympathy for him. In a dramatic twist, Ravana hears that he is Sita's father in this version. He falls at her feet, and Sita glimpses his past, including his life as a gatekeeper of Vaikunta. The moral lines blur, good and evil become complicated. In Lanka, Sita has meaningful conversation with Mandodari and Vibhishana's wife. The enemy's palace becomes a shared womanhood. Even Mandodari is not merely a grieving queen. She is reflective and powerful. After Ravana's death, Mandodari curses Ram that he too will suffer the agony of separation from his beloved. And destiny listens. They return to Ayodhya, but peace does not last. Shurpanaka appears again, attempting to use dark magic against Sita. And once again, Sita is asked to prove her purity by walking through the fire. But this time, something changes. Instead of silently enduring, Sita calls upon her true mother, the earth. The ground opens, the soil embraces her. She returns to where she began. We all know what Ramayana is about. The epic story we have grown up hearing again and again. But haven't you ever wondered what it would be like to hear the parts that were never told? In this book, Chitra Banerjee shares her many interesting details and perspective that you won't find in the original Ramayana, while still keeping the main story just as it is. If you read it as a scripture, you may have many questions. If you read it as fiction, you may love it because here Sita is not silent. She is fierce, she is questioning, she is compassionate, and maybe that is the enchantment of the forest. Hope you liked this book summary. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Until next time, stay safe, keep reading. Bye.